Dennis will take care of your training.
Take off, right?
You take off!
Is there other footage that you know that exists out there of you and maybe some of the other folks that maybe was not used in the movie? Were there other scenes that maybe were shot that you would have liked to be in the movie, or scenes that they had talked about doing that would have maybe built out the characters of a character of Dennis a little bit further? I'm just curious if any of that might exist somewhere.
Mainly it was the scene in the bonsai shop and the car doing the donuts. However, I took part in helping choreograph. I didn't choreograph. I just was sort of a stand-in when they were choreographing the fight between Mike Barnes and Daniel Larusso. It was Pat Johnson and the writer Robert Mark Kamen who were putting this fight together. And as I've said in previous interviews, I got to play both parts as they were rehearsing this and where they were putting the fight together. So they were able to step back, and then it would be me and Mr. Kamen doing some choreography. Then it would be me and Pat, and they would do things. And I would like to think that they actually filmed that, because recently I saw Daryl Vidal shared something recently where there is a footage, or it's rehearsal footage of him and Dutch loses it and tries to take Vidal down, and it was really cool to see that. And I guess they eventually, I'm thinking they never actually filmed that. They kind of went a different direction, but they had that cool rehearsal footage. So I'd like to think that rehearsal footage exists of us putting the fight together. And I think that would just be fascinating to watch. I would love to see that. And I'm not sure if there is or isn't, but I know who knows. The big three know. So what's up, guys? Is it there or not? Because I'd like to see it.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, we've always talked about how there's like not enough behind the scenes footage for Karate Kid 3, and we always want to know more about the making of the movie. I've listened to your previous interviews with Ken and some others, and it's just fascinating to hear, a lot of how the movie was made and what went on, and even just your experiences. So I just appreciate you sharing the details with us. It's awesome to hear that.
Yeah, it was a fun shoot and my first big movie. So I was just so wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and golly, and so was Sean. There were a lot of us. There's some of us who were new, and there were some veterans, and that was really the beginnings of Thomas Ian Griffith's career, in a sense, because he had come in with a lot of theater experience, and he'd come in doing soaps as well, and writing and producing with his wife, and after that there were other things that he had done, and he and his wife Mary Page have done a ton of stuff since then. Now, I'm not friends with Thomas. I don't know him very well. I've only had a chance. Really, the only time that I've hung out with him is on set, but I certainly respect him for his skill and his ability. He and his wife both, and they've had some very successful careers in the business, and they've been able to kind of walk away from it and return to it on their own terms. And Cobra Kai is an example of that.
I have another question for you too. You talked a little bit about maybe showing back up in season, the final season. I think we also asked you this before, but I'm curious if your thoughts have changed. Do you have a way that you would want Dennis to show up in the final season? Is there anything that you'd want to get out of the character, knowing that there's only one season left? Because we want you to be in it. We really want you to be in it, and it would be awesome to see the character. So I'm just curious your thoughts.
I have definite opinion on that, and maybe this has changed, Drew. But if we're bringing back Dennis, make him the baddest of the bad. You know what I mean? I don't want to be gentrified. I don't want to be Dennis Light. It's like, no, you haven't really seen this dude. That quiet dude that you saw that was kind of a bully. Let's see him just be the worst douchebag of the I mean, that's how I would want to come into the series.
So, in your opinion, Dennis, if he came back, could probably take on all of Kim Da-eun's like little way of the fist henchmen, right? Dennis could probably make quick work out of them.
Well, okay, let's separate Dennis from me, okay? Because, Dennis's fight record is 0-1, and his loss came to Daniel Larusso, okay, in a real fight, not a tournament. So Right now, his fight record is not that great, and as far as we know. Okay, so that remains to be seen. But I think that I could at least give them a very good fight, and we could really make it exciting.